What's going on, everybody? Leo Cannell here with today's Seven Figures Club podcast. Today's episode, boys and girls, is all about why KPIs are the key to growing and scaling your business, how focusing on the wrong KPIs nearly bankrupted and killed my business, why defining the right KPIs is going to equal freedom and consistent growth, and how the most important KPIs can change, so you've got to monitor those. Let's go.
There are over 32 million businesses in the U.S., and over 90% of them will never break seven figures in annual sales. So how do we as entrepreneurs or aspiring entrepreneurs break into that seven figures club? This podcast will relentlessly share the secrets, strategies, and tactics I've used to create 3 multi-seven figures businesses and bring in even more successful entrepreneurs than me to share their inspirational stories and tactics to success. You can create your dream business and life right now. So buckle up and let's go.
All right, hope you guys are having an outstanding day, great week, and looking at those goals. We're getting in to, halfway through the first quarter of 2021. And what happens is your goals, maybe your goals for the year that you're looking to accomplish, maybe they're not changing, but you're seeing dynamics in your business and the market change, and you've got to kind of, tweak those and adjust those and pivot to different directions in order to achieve those goals. So keep that in mind as we pass through the first quarter here of 2021. In the regular life, in my family life, interesting weekend. Usually in January or February, my son Marcus, who's 11 years old, his soccer team is a pretty good team. They travel the country and play at these different tournaments. And for his tournament, they were playing apparently a top 15 and apparently the number 1 team in his 11-year-old age group. I'm not sure how they can really know that, where there's so many of these specialty, advanced traveling soccer teams in these age groups across the country. But that was what he was told. And my son's a keeper, and so he was working hard in practice. His coach was on him, during practice for the 2 weeks following up to it. And my wife and son flew out to Phoenix, Arizona to go to this tournament, and there it's 75 degrees, even though here in Utah it's 25 degrees and we're getting tons of snow. Right now in Texas, crazy stuff there. Nate in our office, his parents live in Texas, in Austin. It's like negative 15 degrees, counting wind chill, power's off in all these parts of Texas. Very, very crazy weather. Anyway, so, we're talking to my son, getting him in the right mind frame so that he can succeed, so that he can focus on the games coming up, this big tournament, and he goes out and he just executes and kills it in 3 games, and he's the keeper. In 3 games, he allowed 1 goal to apparently what's supposed to be the best teams in the 11-year-old age group in soccer in the country. And so a phenomenal weekend and tournament for him. Super proud of him, and super, more proud of his ability to kind of overcome adversity and to focus on, the key things that his coach is teaching him, the key, performance indicators, being in the right position, going out and attacking the ball when he's supposed to, strategically when he does make that stop, and does his drop kick, that he's driving the ball and to the right locations. He's avoiding mistakes that he's made previously, not making the same mistake. He's executing. He's outthinking his opponent, and he's put in the time with his strength, with his conditioning, and watching, YouTube videos on soccer and keepers, and learning from those who are, at a higher level than he is. And so really impressed with the progress that he's made and super excited. My daughter's doing the same thing in dance. She dances in an advanced group, and then she does these the solo and duet performance competitions. She's got so many dance trophies in her room that we've had to build more shelves to hold them all. But again, a lot of this comes down to monitoring the right performance indicators. And just as they have to monitor these indicators to get better and to perform at their peak levels in dance and in soccer, we've got to do the exact same things in entrepreneurship. And there are, sometimes even more indicators to pay attention to. And so KPIs, if you haven't heard of this, key performance indicators, is what this little term stands for. KPIs, key performance indicators. And what it comes down to is understanding what are the key performance metrics that you have to measure and follow in order to scale and grow your business. And when you first start out and you're very involved in actually running the business, and as Gary Vaynerchuk would say, you're in the dirt. Means you're doing a lot of the work in the trenches, where you're very involved in the sales process. You might be a key cog doing fulfillment or marketing or sales. You're speaking with a lot of clients, a lot of your strategic partners, and you're really concentrating on all aspects of the business. And at that stage, it's a significant amount of work, but there's still things that you have to pay attention to. And then when you can finally get to where you're at a growth stage, which, the previous company that I had started, we got to a growth stage really fast. We didn't get venture capital funding. We were, using, my partner and my credit cards and our funding that we would get for ourselves to grow. And we grew fast. We went from $0 to $5 million in 18 months. And then we kind of stagnated and flatlined. And one of the issues that we had was we weren't paying attention to the right key performance indicators. And it nearly drove us to bankruptcy, certainly drove me insane. And I just couldn't get my partners to understand the importance of the right key performance indicators. They were focusing on the wrong things. And a big part of it was our per deal metric. We were losing money, and we tried to create additional auxiliary products that would be more profitable, but you can't lose money with your core product. You can break even with it, you can be slightly profitable, but you can't lose money typically and win in business if your core product is not profitable. And that was a lot of the problem, a lot of the issues. And so when I broke away from the company that I'd started in my kitchen, 5-6 years ago, and started our new funding company, 7 Figures Funding, I really wanted to make sure that we paid attention to the performance indicator of, okay, a deal comes in that we're going to get funding for. I'm going to pay, this strategic partner business coach who referred him X amount of percentage points. I'm going to pay, my setter X amount of percentage points of the deal, my closer, and the funding manager, and I'll be the funding manager on all the first deals. And I'll know that we're not losing money on every deal that comes in. And that was very key and very important. And then it was super important to have the right team, the right staff who embodied our values and principles. And so as we went in to growing this business, I decided, let's not grow it out of control with chaos. Let's really create a strong foundation, and let's make sure that I don't get out of the daily grind work in the trenches too soon, because I did that with my previous business and really lost control of it. So this time really started to not try to grow too fast, and then make sure we had a great foundation and that we were paying attention to the right performance indicators. And there's a lot of things to break down, but if you're not profitable on a per unit, per deal basis, so let's say, for example, you're a janitor and you have a job to, you land a job to clean an office building that's 10,000 square feet. Well, you need to know that that job is going to make you money, right? You need to know that your labor and your supplies are not going to be so expensive that you're not charging enough to be profitable on that particular job. Because if you're not profitable on each job with each unit, then as you grow and scale, it's going to get more difficult, because inevitably at times as you grow and scale, sometimes it becomes, especially in a service-based business, more difficult to be, keep the same profit margins. You're not as involved as much. You're more of a leadership management role. You have more leaders and managers, and that means more expenses, because you can't, I don't believe, realistically grow, and then limit your compensation structure. If anything, it has to get more aggressive as you grow so that you are attracting great talent. And so that was the challenge that I was facing with my previous business, and we weren't paying attention to these performance indicators of knowing that we were profitable on a per deal, per unit basis. And so that was a key part of building the right foundation. And then once that was rolling, then you kind of phase yourself out. You duplicate the jobs that you're doing, the hats that you're wearing, and you go more into that leadership management role. And typically that starts to happen around when you're breaking $100,000 a month and you've got enough money coming in to pay your personal bills. And now you can start to figure out, well, how do we grow? And I'm going to do a podcast in a few episodes about the importance of really making a lot of your profits on some of your other auxiliary products that surround your core product, and how vital and important that is for growing your business. But for this particular podcast, let's just focus on what it takes to define the right key performance indicators so that you can grow. So every day I come in at the beginning of every week, I monitor our key performance indicators. And for every business, that means leads that are coming in, and that means sales that are bringing in money, right? And so you'll start to see trends that, well, for every 100 clients that we see, we close 20% of those, and the average client is worth this amount of money in sales to the business, and we're making this amount of profits. And then you start to get into, well, you've got those fixed costs associated with that deal, and then you've got other costs like your overhead, your rent, your tech costs, because we have to have a CRM to manage all of our clients, and each one of our employees has to have access to that CRM, and then they each have to have email, and then there's additional phone and email and other costs that come into play, and then you've got to buy new equipment and computers, and you're trying to get the very best deal possible on this stuff. But this is all part of that growth. And so as you're growing, you're paying attention to the key performance indicators. And so in my business, I pay attention to how many leads we're bringing in every single week. My job as the business owner is to make sure that I'm making it rain. The leads, are adequate numbers of leads are coming in so that we can close those, we can generate sales, our team earns commissions, and we continue to grow. And so you'll start to focus, okay, we're in the last couple months, we've gone from bringing in about 200 to 250 leads a week, and we just crossed 400 leads a week just last week, and consistently that's growing every single week. So now the next thing I've got to focus on, well, how many funding deals are we signing? And then I've got to make sure that we're signing more funding deals that corresponds with the additional leads that we're getting. And then if we're getting a lot of leads, but our numbers aren't going up, what's the deal? Is it a training problem? Is it problems that I need to teach our staff better, or my partner does? Or is it an issue where actually we're generating lower quality leads because we aren't paying attention enough to training our strategic funding partners who send in leads and deals to us, and maybe we've got to do a better job of vetting and training them so that they bring in higher quality deals so they make more money. And so there's all these different performance indicators, and the key is making sure that you're paying attention to the most important key performance indicators. And over time, these numbers can change, but what won't change is your top line and your bottom line number, right? Your top line revenue and sales number should be increasing every single month, and if it's not, then you've got to pivot and make some changes, or you're going to be in trouble. And then as that top line grows, well, the bottom line still needs to be growing too. If I'm not profitable, if I'm just increasing my sales and feeling good about higher numbers, but it's not actually increasing my bank account as a business owner, then why am I doing it? I mean, that's not why we start a business. We don't start a business to make the same amount of money month after month, even though the business is bringing in more money, more sales. If we're not, seeing an increase in our net profit bottom line numbers, then that's an issue. And that's where key performance indicators have to translate into key performance indicators that you watch with your bottom line. If you aren't connected to QuickBooks, if you don't look at your profit and loss every week, then you can get out of control very quickly, burn cash, and look at things like, wow, we increased our sales this month. We went from 150,000 to 215,000, but actually our bottom line went down. Why did that happen? Well, if it was a temporary thing where we, bought some more equipment, invested in some more structure, but now we're not going to have to do that for the next few months, and we'll see an increase in the bottom line profit numbers moving forward, then that's fine. But if we didn't necessarily do anything extra, but we're not making more profits, then that's where we've got to go back and realize where is the issue. And sometimes that can't be helped. Sometimes you grow and your profit margins shrink, but your bottom line should be increasing, and that's where you have to find different auxiliary products that you can create to increase profitability around your core product. And a lot of businesses are built that way, and I'm definitely going to do an episode about this in the next few episodes about how that works and how to create the right auxiliary products, because there are so many opportunities that you'll find in creating your business that will lead you to profitability and a key performance indicator. One key performance indicator that's super important is doing everything possible to monetize your traffic and the leads that you generate. There's only a small percentage maybe of the leads that you generate that you can help with your core product. In our case, for example, we might generate somewhere around 1,600 leads of people looking for funding and financing for their business in the month of February here in 2021. But maybe half of them won't qualify because they don't have any income, any assets, and their credit is smashed. And so if I don't have an alternative option to monetize those leads, then my key performance indicators I'm not making them work for me, right? So now that's why we've started a credit repair, business that sort of helps. Kind of teamed up with different credit repair fulfillment, and through that now we're going to be able to help more of our clients get their credit on a path where they'll qualify for funding in the next few months, and we'll be able to monetize those leads that we weren't monetizing previously. So that's kind of an example of key performance indicators evolving, and now, well, how many sales can we generate in credit repair to help our clients so that they can eventually come back to us and get funding and financing for their business. So those are the things you start to pay attention to. How can I find more money, more sales, and create new key performance indicators so that I'm actually growing my business profitably? And so the key performance indicators, they've got to evolve. They can't always be the same. With your core product, for example, ours is funding. We know we're going to pay attention to leads. We know we're going to pay attention to the number of clients who are pre-qualified for funding, how many of them move forward and sign our funding agreement, how many of them actually get funding, and what's our average funding amount, what's our average commission or earnings per deal. And then, okay, now that I know that, how many of them are then going to purchase our entrepreneur education portal, the 7 Figures Accelerator, and how many that don't qualify are then going to get credit repair through our sister company, Prep My Cred. And so there are all these different things that we're going to focus on as key performance indicators, and they're going to evolve and they're going to change over time. Or maybe the core product ones are not going to change, but as we create additional product services and solutions for our clients that are all connected to each other, then we're going to add additional key performance indicators. And one of the really big key performance indicators that you've got to watch like a hawk is whatever you're spending in marketing. And right now, regardless of how you feel about Facebook, it's absolutely the very best marketing investment that you can make for your business, as long as you have a smart sales funnel that makes you money, or at least doesn't lose you money. And so in our case, for example, we've got our funding partner program that we recruit and train business coaches and consultants and people who want to build a funding empire working from home. And so we do that through Facebook marketing ads, and right now we're spending about $25,000 a month generating these funding partners who generate tons of funding deals, and they make great commissions, and we're really growing that community, but we don't necessarily make a big profit with that, but it's growing our core funding business. And so now we've got to create additional solutions and key performance indicators around that. But The most important thing you have to do about marketing spend is make sure that you're generating enough sales, right? And sometimes it's having additional offers. When I first started our Funding Partner program, we just had one webinar, one product for a couple $100. It was very simple, and we consistently were losing money on our partner program in terms of the amount of money that I charged for the training and the software and everything we provided our funding partners with. And so then that evolved into a sales funnel where they could get started for $1, and then it was $97 a month, and then they could upgrade to a $997 executive program where they get advanced training, weekly support, and they also get a much bigger commission as an executive partner. And I know they're going to be more committed because they've invested in themselves, people that pay attention. And now that's evolved into our CEO program, where it's an even more advanced deal where we have 5 one-on-one coaching calls, and we build a custom website, and we have even more advanced knowledge and higher commissions up to 100% with lenders that they can work with. And so that's really grown and advanced. And so now when you have kind of these additional upsells and products and more value, and people go deeper with you, now you have a better chance at being profitable with your marketing spend. And so those are things you want to pay attention to as well. So the bottom line is this: create key performance indicators, watch them like a hawk, let them evolve, pivot, make changes, and now you've got a chance to hit the 7 Figures Club, which again, that's the purpose of this podcast, right? We want to get as many people into the top 7% of businesses in this country. The top 7% make over $1 million a year, and our goal is to help get you there. And if you're looking for a business to do it, the funding space is a great place to go. Biz5freedom.com is our funding partner workshop you can check out. Or regardless of the business you're looking to build, make sure you've got key performance indicators. So that, my friends, is today's message. Have a great day, an amazing week, and we'll see you next time on the podcast.
Are you looking for more 7-figure secrets, content, or even how you can launch your own recession-proof business? Then check out 7figures.com. That's the digit 7, FIGURES.com, where we share more videos, stories, strategies, funding solutions, entrepreneurial education, and even the secret business type that's recession-proof. Thank you for listening, and if you're finding value in our podcast, please give us a 5-star and invite others to join the club.